All right, welcome back once again to the Rainbow Open featured by Marmorous Esports. I'm Solar Pancake. I'm joined here by Cherry today, and we are going to be going into our Week 2 match for our Twilight division here. We have Aesir going up against Faeble Rising. Cherry, this should be a pretty good match, pretty evenly balanced teams. Faeble coming in at a Diamond 5 peak, and Aesir being at a Plat 1 peak, so probably similar skill level, so this should be a really easy, fun match going into this for him.
Yeah, obviously that Plat 1 peak is going to have a little bit of a disadvantage over the Diamond, because Diamond, it's very different. It's very, it's in personal experience, it's a lot harder to get into it. Looking at some of the info we've gotten on the team's Aesir, we're probably going to see a Reinhardt Symmetra comp coming out. Going onto Antarctic Peninsula, it might be a little bit weird to see that, since by the looks of it, Aesir, they like to play that Symmetra, and it's so good to play that on Lijiang Tower maps like that. So for Peninsula to be the map of choice, they might have a little bit of disadvantage going into this, but honestly, I could see them pulling some weird stuff out. What are your thoughts going into this, though? Because honestly, I'd like to see a Reinhardt Symmetra.
Yeah, I mean, as a tank player and going back to Overwatch 1 days as a main tank player, I definitely kind of favor that Reinhardt matchup there, so I'd love to see some Reinhardt gameplay. I'm a big fan of some Rein Sim Brawl, giving us some throwback and some feelings about London Spitfire, which, I mean, I can't complain about that at all, but like you mentioned, we're going to Antarctic Peninsula first, and we're actually going to be starting out on Icebreaker. And this is the point that is a little bit more open. You're dealing on that ship that's got, a little bit of the aerial coverage, but really this is one that you see a lot of brawl coming in. So, that Rein Sim format there from Aesir, we could definitely see that coming out. And it looks like, at least from the starting spawn compositions, we're definitely going to be seeing that. And on the side of Faeble, they're going for more of the classic meta brawl right now with the Ram, the Mei, and the Sojourn.
Yeah, I mean, I like these compositions a lot. I think that going into this, Faeble Rising going to have a little bit of an advantage, though. Ramattra, very meta in the compositions right now, and Mei as well. Such a good pick. Being able to stop that Baptiste healing, he's going to have to jump over the wall to be able to heal his Ramattra if he gets walled off. It's just going to be so detrimental to have that Symmetra.
Detrimental of that Symmetra. The Sim teleport going to be giving them a little bit of an advantage getting there first, but it looks like Faeble is opting to take this backside of the point here, and now this is where we see brawl compositions really get into the meat of things as we wait for this point to unlock, and they will eventually clash heads. A railgun being fired up and not able to find the pick here, and it's going to be up to Najila to get this pick here opening for them. Teleport going to come out, and they are just actually going to give up the point here. They want to give up this point control, get into better favorable position here, and now they are going to aggress onto them. Here comes Aesir crawling in, the pin coming out onto Sleepy Eels, but that transformation going to be there. In the meantime, They Call Me M is just destroying people with this railgun from the Sojourn, and that's going to be a first fight win here for the side of Aesir.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Zumi releasing his immortality field that early, definitely not something you want to see. And that might have been partially the reasoning of how he was able to get picked off so early there by They Call Me Meme. I mean, that was just, it was the first pick. And then right after that, we saw the second one. And that was exactly what was needed for, Faeble Rising to get actually just taken down. I mean,
yeah. I mean, this Bastion pick is going to be devastating here on the side, but unfortunately, the window comes up. The Fire Strike plus the Symmetra right click is going to find purchase there. And now the Reinhardt being able to just go in and swing. It's every main tank's dream here. And now it's just cleanup for the side of Aesir and a nice little fight ticking up to 40% here on this second fight.
Yeah, Aesir just absolutely utilizing their abilities to perfection there, only having to use one ultimate to completely take down that fight. We're going to be seeing this next fight come through in just a moment, and Rabbit, we see her with that Earth Shatter. It's going to be so detrimental here. Sleepy is going to have to be doing something, maybe put up a shield, maybe try and get the Ram ult off before we can see that happen, but we'll see what happens here.
I think we may be seeing a Q-Fest, and there's the window. The Shatter is going to come through. It's going to find two, but Echo's going to have the beat in response. The Annihilation coming out there from Sleepy Eels, and that's exactly what you need. Willowtron and Najila finding picks on their own here. So this is going in favor here of Faeble Rising, and that's exactly what they need. But 83% here on the side of Aesir, and that's going to make it pretty easy here to have a one-fight territory for them.
Yeah, I think Faeble Rising there, they knew what they needed to do. They had to ult dump there, and it definitely was something that really helped them. They were able to find that point, but however, going into this, we're going to see so many ults coming through.
Oh, getting stuck behind the wall a little bit there. That Symmetra wall is going to be able to get a lot of purchase here for Aesir, being able to find all of these angles with the overclock, but not able to find an answer there. The Artillery Strike going to find one, but They Call Me Mem is going to also take one out, so the fight is very even on the point here. The Bastion Sentry mode is gone now. The configuration mode is gone, and now there's not a lot of damage on the side of Faeble Rising. Window's going to come out, and another trade coming through. Willowtron and the DPS here from Faeble Rising wanting to find a purchase here and make sure that this is another fight won, and that is exactly what it's going to be here. Faeble Rising holding on and moving into what is maybe going to be our last full fight here.
Absolutely. And, it just seems in these situations, we're looking at this, and it's just Aesir aren't able to capitalize on their kills. They're finding that first blood of the fight, but then they just cannot finish it off. And, I mean, looking at this, it seems like we're going to have to see some kind of change coming through in the second round.
Yeah, they're going to have to switch something up. The aggression a little bit too strong here from the side of Faeble Rising. That's one, that's two, gone with the punches from Sleepy Eels, and that's exactly what you need. 3% left and ticking, and they still have one ultimate in the bank, and they're not even going to have to use that Annihilation there. A really good turnaround there from Faeble Rising, taking it back from an 82-0. And now you were talking about it. Something has to change here on the side of Aesir. And looking at it from my perspective as a tank player, I think that Aesir is in a good position. They just have to capitalize and move a little bit faster and take the initiative rather than letting Faeble come into them.
Yeah, absolutely. They're playing such a brawl composition, but they're not pushing with it. And when you have that Lucio speed and you're not pushing it, I mean, you just, you can switch to the Kiriko, you can switch to the Ana. Both would probably find more value than what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, both could find a little bit more value, but it looks like both teams don't really feel that there's a lot of change that needs to happen. We are going to see They Call Me Mem moving on and mirroring that Bastion rather than continuing on that Sojourn. So now we're looking at a little bit of a mirror outside of the Symmetra, Rhine, and Ram here, but Brawl nonetheless. A good wall going to come up there from Willowtron, but not going to be able to stay up long enough. Hogan, that lamp having to come out extremely early, but there are so many members from the side of Faeble falling extremely low, and that is going to be the two crucial pieces of this brawl, the Ram and the Bap falling extremely early, and this is looking like a mirror situation from the first point here, Cherry.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's just going to be xSCL, Aesir just pushing through. They want to collect as much space as possible here, and, getting that first point, that's the easy part, but to be able to continually maintain this aggression that you're showing, this is what you really have to do.
This is what you have to do to make sure that you control that space. You don't give them any presence to be able to rush onto you. Now, this flank from Najila, I'm not a huge fan of. That Bastion has a lot of damage fall off, and there's not going to be a whole lot going on, but they recognize that Najila's all alone. The teleport comes out, and that's exactly what you want to see. Very good rotation there from the side of Aesir. I don't know who called that, but it was a brilliant call there. And now they just have to clean it up. They call me Meme's going to find a kill onto Willow, and now it's just a Ramatra and a Bap hanging out on the point, and not for very long. And all the meanwhile, this point capture progress is going up. So a good solid start there from Aesir.
Absolutely, absolutely. And looking at these ultimates, you know, Aesir, they're going to be going into this with such big firepower. We're going to see that Earth Shatter online. The Amplification Matrix will be available. And as we saw in previous fights, you know, King Deary going to be so good combining that Amplification Matrix with these little, you know, we see the Fire Strike. That's so good. The Symmetra right click can get so much value out of it. And it's like, here's going to be where they want to place it potentially. Never mind.
Oh, yeah, that lamp is going to have to come out really early. The artillery strike early didn't find anything, and a Mei ultimate coming out here from Willowtron. Shatter is going to come out, and that's going to be a pick onto Pogan, not what you really need. But from the side of Faeble, they really want to make sure that this is a winnable fight. They pop the sound barrier and the annihilation as well, which didn't find a whole lot of value, and now they're still fighting for this point, and this is going to be about 96% here for the side of Eris. But now, can they turn it around unlike what they did on that first point? What do they need to do here, Cherry?
Yeah, this looks very similar to what we saw on the first point. One team makes an insane lead at the very start and then loses a fight where we see the other team just having to completely ult dump. Now, it's been the opposite teams in both scenarios, which is why it's a little bit confusing to me. However, look at this. 3 ultimates remaining here for the side of Faeble Rising here. So I don't know. Oh, not sorry, Faeble Rising. Sorry, Aesir has that. But look at that damage already coming through.
Already coming through, but there's the window. Bastion turret form coming up here just shortly, but that Symmetra wall is going to provide a lot of cover, and in the meantime, Rabbit's going to find the kill onto the Mei. That's a lot of your sustain there from the side of Faeble Rising. Falling down. Shatter is going to come through. It's going to connect onto 2. Najila is going to fall as well. Sleepy Eels is going to find one, but it's not going to be long, and it's just a lone frog DJ on the point, and unfortunately, the power of music is not going to be enough this time, and nobody's going to be able to touch. And right now, Aesir making this a game and going, tying up the series and bringing us to play out on the final point of Antarctic.
Absolutely. I mean, going into this final map, I definitely give a bit of an advantage to Aesir here. I think that the Symmetra can be super powerful on this third point. There's so many different places you can play. However, Najila switching over to the Sojourn might be exactly what you want, since it gives you more locations to play. Bastion, really good for that high ground positioning, as we saw on the previous map. However, going into this third one, you know, it might be a little bit better to play that Sojourn, be able to maneuver yourself a little bit easier than what you would see in a Bastion pick. And they're just sticking with a Mei. I really like this composition coming out here.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting when you're playing a composition like this with the Symmetra, with the Sojourn rather than the Bastion. You have to make sure that you're playing that poke pressure a little bit more, making sure you're able to get those rails up rather than going in for a hard brawl. But they are going to take this left side here, and this is going to be a battle of this high ground. Who can take it first? This Bastion is going to be a problem, but rightfully holding on to that wheels mode right now, and there it is. The wheels are out. So much damage being pumped in. Sleepy Eels can only hold his hands up to make sure that they do not fall over. They just have to back up right now. The point is unlocked, but nobody's taking control. They want to make sure this fight is won out. A wall is going to come out and split the forces of Aesir here, and they are going to rotate to the point. Aesir's going to get first control, but that does not mean this fight is over by any stretch of the imagination. Lamp from Deer is going to come out, and they call Mem is going to get a pick, and that is going to be it for Faeble there. They give up the point control, aren't as aggressive here, and maybe that Sojourn pick backfiring a little bit for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Faeble Rising, they have not been having the greatest time after that first map, and honestly, I think it might just be because their composition was really oriented towards that first map. And I mean, obviously, you know, I think that in the current meta, Ramatra just solos Reinhardt in most ways, but clearly, you know, Aesir, they're able to utilize the Rhine Shield along with the Bastion to just make so much value come through here.
So much value. Artillery strike gonna come out, force out the lamp early, and that's the annihilation of gigantic shatter. That's gonna be a 4-man shatter. The beat's gonna have to be called out from Echo there, but it's not gonna be enough for Sleepy Ills. The power of sound, just not enough one more time, and that's gonna be a clean team fight here from Aesir. And now, if you're on the side of Faeble, you have the window, the overclock, and the May ult coming up, but is that gonna be enough here?
Yeah, I absolutely loved how we saw Rabbit play that. He took the shatter as soon as we saw the annihilation pop there, and he just played his shield around it. He allowed it to just lose all value it could possibly have, since obviously, as most of us could agree, the annihilation is such a powerful ultimate, and the earth shatter, there's only like certain scenarios where it really does get value. So for him to realize that, for her to realize it, Rabbit was just able to make an insane team fight for his team.
An insane team fight indeed, and now from the side of Faeble, they're not only going to have to contest this point, but this high ground as well, and deal with so many ultimates. There's the May ultimate, that's going to be 4 frozen in it. That's the Poggin down. Echo going to find the kill onto Rabbit, and this is exactly what you need from Faeble Rising. They use 2 ultimates there. They're going to be able to get the flip and get these kills, but as I say that, they call me Mim is going to find 2. They're going to throw the artillery out. The overclock being used, going to take down the Bastion, but it might be too little, too late. We'll have to see if Najila here can hold it out. Going to find 2, and that is going to be another hold here for them. Poggin back again, maybe feeding a little bit, but Sleepy Ills falling so low. Rabbit's back in the fight because of that teleporter. The Sim turrets get 2, and they have turned this around once again. This is a insane team fight here. A shatter going to be coming out, nothing to block it except this May wall. The Baptiste is just going to have to lay down and take it. And now the May is the only one left, 1 HP. It might not be enough. Sleepy Ills is back on the ball, and this team fight is just spiraling out of control for Faeble Rising. They need to find some sort of cohesion and focus the same target here. Rabbit being chunked down in the front, and Sleepy Ills just trying to keep this point contested as long as possible, but they are going to fall, and that is going to be it for our first map of Antarctic Peninsula. And man, this was a map and forth. But in the end, it's going to be Aesir taking the first map and taking a 1-0 lead in the series here, Cherry.
And look at this play of the game, dude. It really just shows how well both of these teams can play. As we saw, Sleepy Ills was so good on the Ramatra here, able to capitalize on any misplays from the opposing teams. And it just wasn't enough, Obviously, I think going into this next map, Faeble Rising gonna be able to potentially change things up, change out the Ramatra, maybe find something that you can work a little bit better with. But you gotta do it soon, and you gotta do it before it's too far out of your hands.
Yeah, and I think even if you want to stay on the Ramatra, if that's what Sleepy Ills is comfortable playing on that Ramatra, it can definitely work. That Ramatra has so much mitigation ability with that right click, but I think the issue came when Najila opted to switch into that Sojourn there. When you're going up against the Bastion and you've got that teleporter with the Symmetra, they can get into some funky positions. I know on our team, we love to run that Sim Bastion composition every now and then when we feel we're up against a wall, because sometimes it takes the opponents off guard. And maybe that's what's happening to Faeble. Maybe they haven't scrimmed against us too much here, and they're not quite ready for what's happening with that Symmetra there. But it's going to be really interesting where we see this next point going here. Where would you go if you're Faeble Rising to kind of stop this aggression from this Symmetra teleport here?
I assume the next map is going to be hybrid. So honestly, if it's me, it's like, what do you even choose there? You have to choose something that really, it's hard to push into. And honestly, I think a good choice is to just try and pick that Blizzard world there. Because as soon as you get past that first choke point, there's not a whole places for the turrets to get set up for the Symmetra, and you can use your wall very proactively on that if you're playing May. So honestly, I think that's a really good pick. I don't know. There's a lot of picks you can go with, and not a lot that actually is going to work amazingly for you. But I think that, maybe King's Row, but King's Row at the same time, a lot of high ground for that Bastion to be playing on. And it's not very easy to get him off of that. Unlike as you would see in a Blizzard Row, where you can play that Lucio, get up on high ground, boop him off. There's only one place they can be playing height. It's pretty easy to just get him off. In this scenario, I don't totally know what they need to do, since this is not, this is not a mode where it really favors that poke and dive compositions. It's very much brawl oriented.
Yeah. Our three hybrid, unfortunately, Blizzard World not in the pool, so they're not going to be able to go there, unfortunately. But so they've got the choice of Hollywood, King's Row, and Numbani, and I think really looking at Numbani is where I would be looking to go personally. Numbani makes it a little bit tougher, harder angles to try to get those Symmetra teleporters to where you want to go, and really maybe forcing the side of Aesir into something that they're not super comfortable with. I do want to make a quick call out. We were using a player tag incorrectly, so they call me M, so we'll just be calling it M from now on that Bastion going forward here. Didn't have it on our sheet. This is a great reminder to all of you that are in the Rainbow Open. Update your team sheet so that we know how you would like us to reference you in game, so we can get that correct for you. But we're just waiting on our map pick right now. A lot of different choices. Hollywood might be a play, but I think if you're on the side of Faeble Rising, you avoid King's Row at all costs, unfortunately.
I mean, I didn't even realize that I didn't realize Blizzard World wasn't in the map pool. So that's on me. But yeah, I mean, it is interesting to see King's Row coming out. I don't know how that came to be, but definitely going to be interesting to see if we see some Mirror Maze potentially. I know that's a very popular pick right now, but yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts going into this? Do you think we're just going to see a 2-0 coming out, or do you think that we might be seeing some changes?
I mean, it's really tough to say. The pick of King's Row from Faeble Rising tells me that they're not comfortable playing anything outside of this brawl composition that we saw them come out with on Antarctic. And the reason for that is King's Row is arguably probably one of the most played maps in the game. It's got the moniker Scrim's Row for a reason. Everybody plays this map. Everybody loves it. Jeff Kaplan himself designed this map. And that shows you how great of a map this is, and it favors those brawls in the tight corridors and everything. And so I think if you are on the side of Faeble Rising and you're wanting to play this brawl into what we saw was arguably a very effective Symmetra Rein brawl composition, you have to play at a different tempo. I think they were maybe taking the fights too fast, not waiting for the Bastion to release that turret form and soaking up way too much damage as they entered. But it looks like we have Aesir on the defense, and surprise, surprise, they're sticking with this brawl composition. They are going to switch out that Symmetra for the Mei, which is pretty standard here, though, like we were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very basic composition coming out from both sides. The Mercy pick, definitely interesting from Echo 20, but I don't know entirely how much I like that. Obviously, I believe it's going to get swapped out within the first couple seconds. You give a little bit of a damage boost to Nagila, and that's I don't even know how do you Nagila. I don't even know how you pronounce that.
Nagila, I think you go Nagila.
Nagila. All right, thank you very much. And yeah, it does. That does seem to be the pick that they do go for there. And yeah, both players just gonna back out hopefully here.
Yeah, just looking for that pick, and the Pharah Mercy, the bane of most of my team's existence here. We hate the pharmacy. It's not a great time. This is very difficult to deal with. You have two options. You either fight that Pharah and Mercy in the sky, or you run over everybody else. You focus your fire too much on both of them, it's not going to work out. Lamp going to have to be used early, and we'll see what what Aesir wants to do here against this pharmacy. They're going to just be pressuring, and Sleep Eels is going to be the first to fall. Rabbit going to get that pick, and that front line pressure is now gone, and the side of Faeble Rising is just going to have to play a little poke game now until their tank gets back.
Yeah, and this is partially the reason I don't really like the Pharah Mercy in this composition, since you are completely relying on Sleepy Eels, and you have him and your Sojourn, or her and your Sojourn, that you have to completely like rely on to do most of your work. So for that to be the case, it's not going to have a good time when you have a Pharah playing poke against a Bastion and a Baptiste who can pretty easily mow her down. I mean, well, will that be the case? Who knows? It's yet to be seen, but honestly, it's not looking too good.
The window is going to get thrown out here from Deer. She's going to lay that down, and it's going to be, he's going to lay that down, and it's going to provide a lot of damage for that Bastion. But the wheels mode is gone. The Mei has to go into cryo very quickly. And now if you're looking on the side of Faeble Rising, you do have the ultimates, and as I say that, a great wall comes out to block that OC there, the overclock, and that's going to be the pick from Nagila. That's exactly what you want. The Pharah finally finding that value, and the point is taking up here in favor of Faeble Rising. And now the beat is going to come through for the recontest here. The barrage going to come out as well. The annihilation. They really want to make sure they get this point, and they are going to have it. Just a Baptiste left. Maybe a little bit of an over ult, but really, if you use the ults and you win, I mean, you can't complain too much, right?
Oh yeah, not at all. And I mean, obviously, we're going to probably be seeing Aesir coming in with probably a bit of a team wipe. As soon as they get back into the fight, we're going to see the Earth Shatter available, the Blizzard available, a bunch of ults that they're going to be able to utilize. However, the point's already been taken, so honestly, it doesn't totally matter. You could lose this fight. You have 3 minutes, 50 seconds on the clock. There's calling the M's ultimate coming through, and the orbital strikes can do very little value.
Really wanting that Baptiste, not able to find it. They are also throwing out that Blizzard there. Didn't find a whole lot of value, but they're able to clean up that fight extremely quickly here from the side of Aesir, and that's going to be a reset for Faeble Rising. So now they're stuck in this long hallway, which is not ideal going up against this brawl comp here.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a choke point that you really do not like having to cross through. I mean, we'll see how they're going to be able to do it. Obviously, I believe that if you go alt dump to alt dump, it's probably going to be Faeble Rising winning on it. Unless we can see Rabbit getting a major shatter, but this is it, Will they be able to find that shatter? And it doesn't even seem like they need to.
The Baptiste is going to get picked off early. A nice icicle from downrange from Pogan. That's exactly what you want to see. But the good news is that Bap is going to spawn in a little bit faster. And if they just reset, they might be able to get it. But as I say that, Rabbit says, you know what? We're not going to let you reset. We're going to take Sleepy Eels down and make sure they continue to sleep. A res is going to come through, and this is going to be a setup here for another fight at this archway, which can be extremely punishing. We'll see if this overclock can get any value, as there's a window and a shatter on both sides now, and now it's just a little bit of a scrappy fight here at this doorway, waiting to see how things come out. That grenade doing a little bit of geometry bouncing there, maybe playing some geometry dash in the free time there from M, but nothing is going to find value here. The Lucio just pestering Honeycrisp, not able to find anything. Barrage gonna come out, it's gonna find two, gonna be short-lived, but the Mercy res is there, and that's gonna be a nice wipe here from the side of Faeble Rising and get this cart moving through Streets phase.
Yeah, and they didn't even have to use some of their ultimates. Zumi will still have the Amplification Matrix. We're going to see that Sojourn Overclock available for this next fight in Sleepy Eels at 99% towards the Annihilation. Definitely going to be a big ultimate going into this potentially, second to last fight going towards the second point here.
Yeah, this is going to be a matter of which ultimates are going to be able to get the most value. We've got a Shatter. Pogan actually switched over to the Symmetra. Can we see a TP Shatter possibly coming through? No, he's just going to send it into the backline with the speed boosts. And now the Shatter comes in, finds one, taking him down. M going to find another onto the far, and that's going to make Faeble Rising back up. The good news is that was an extremely fast fight, and they should be able to get at least 2 more fights out of this if needed. But now they should have the ult advantage. Maybe a little bit of a misuse on that Valkyrie, but that's definitely one that you can let get away for Ren.
Oh yeah, of course. It's not going to be the end of the world. Valkyrie, definitely a good ult, but it's not the greatest. And Sleepy Eels here, you give him the Mercy pocket, he's going to be able to survive. And that's just all you need in this scenario, as long as you don't want the Bastion completely rail you down, but Zumi getting taken down,
no.
not
Oh, the Bastion artillery finds its purchase onto the Baptiste. All of that healing gone from the side of Faeble Rising. The res is going to come through, so they are going to, and maybe they're a little bit too overextended. They got too much hubris going on. Najila gonna find a triple kill with that barrage. And honestly, with that team kill, that is going to secure second point. And this Pharah, while may not be impactful during the mid fight, as soon as that ultimate is up, Najila is finding the value that she needs to.
Absolutely. However, at 3 minutes and 50 seconds to start that off, it's definitely going to be a rough one. And oh my gosh, Pogan getting taken down. There's Raps going down as well. And it looks like Dejan Chris is going to be able to find two. It's just going to be that fight, and it's going to be a cleanup here going into this last fight. Faeble Rising on the front foot.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of an overextension there. If I were on the side there of Aesir, I would have wanted to set up on that corner and just be ready for that next point, but instead they went in, wanted to get the touch. The good news is they did force out two ultimates, so now that Annihilation and Window are off the board, and they've got the ult advantage coming into this next fight, and maybe that's the thought process here. We'll have to see what they come up with. There's the Symmetra wall, really wanting to get in and chasing down Honeycrisp right now, but not able to find the purchase. Echo going to get caught up, and that is going to be it here for this push from Faeble Rising. But now they have 30 seconds. This is one fight territory here, and still a long ways to go on third point.
Yeah, I mean, you took the first two. It's not the end of the world, even if you don't make it any farther. However, I believe that they will. Najila has that barrage almost ready, and that Valkyrie is going to be available here, so it's not going to be the end of the world. The overclock as well. We haven't seen a whole ton of value coming out from it, but here's some ults on the other side. I mean, we'll see how well this can come out.
Pogan gonna find Najila and Echo. No resurrect coming through for that barrage. Honeycrisp is gonna fall as well, and everything is falling apart for Faeble Rising. They are falling one after another to Aesir here. There's nothing that can be done here. Najila trying for the hero play, gonna find one, gonna find two, but getting taken out by M, and there's nobody left to touch the point, and that is going to be a solid 33.99, I think it was. So we'll call it an even 34 meters there for the side of Faeble Rising. And now that is an extremely doable defense here. We've seen many a times where Kings Row teams are able to hold on that first point defense. If you're looking at the side of Faeble Rising, do they run this far on the defense too?
I wouldn't. I don't think running the Pharah on the defense is a play whatsoever, because you're going to have to deal with the high ground that you see right at the spawn room. You play the Widowmaker there, you're easily going to get hunted down. And maybe they're going to go for it, and it looks like they are. Definitely an interesting pick, and we don't see Pogan switching to a hit scan, so it looks like we're going to see Aesir very confident in the fact that they can shut down Najila very easily, which I don't know whether or not it's going to happen, but it's definitely an interesting pick. And Rabbit's still on that Reinhardt. There's the swap going there. I mean, it just doesn't look like we're going to see an amazing play. I mean, okay, worst case scenario or best case scenario here, we see Pogan switching to like Soldier, Notum switching to Ana, and they just 4-hit scan down Najila. But I don't know whether or not that's even going to like be an option here.
Now, we'll have to see what they decide to do. The hit scan is an option. You do have the Symmetra teleporter that can get you up onto that high ground and force people off as well, and just kind of ignoring the Pharah and the point entirely until you take out that Baptiste and that Sojourn. There's the TP. They are just going to go straight to the back of point, and they are going to chase down Zumi. He's going to fall extremely low, but Honeycrisp's E is going to find purchase onto Pogan there. She is going to fall extremely quickly, unfortunately. He's going to fall super quick, and that is not a great start there from the side of Aesir, and they are they're trying to wrap around the back, thought that they wouldn't get caught out, and now they're alone. They don't have that Symmetra teleporter to get through, and Symmetra, as I say that, they've flipped the map entirely here. I'm not sure why a punish didn't come through onto that, but now Rabbit's shield falling extremely low. Sleepy Eels having to use that Omnic form already there with excuse me, the punches, and now Rabbit gonna find the pick onto Zumi. All of that healing from that Baptiste is now gone. Najeela's gonna fall as well, as Echo could not focus on that pocket of the Pharah, and now the res finally comes through, but it's gonna be a little bit too late here. Echo gonna be caught out, and it's only a matter of time before Najeela falls as well, and that's gonna be an extremely quick first point cap here, and now they realistically only have to cap the second and then a tiny bit into third. And so if you're on the side of Faeble Rising, it's not looking like this Pharah defense is working out as well as they thought.
Yeah, and I mean, just looking at this, like, how do you really, like, expect to win this? Because if we look at the ultimate economy, none of the support ults for Faeble Rising, like, they are not very far whatsoever. 67 and 57. You're going to need to get those up. Obviously, Najeela wasn't shut down for a very long time during that first fight, so the barrage is available. But at this point, when the Bastion's available and you're on the defense, you have to be making the plays. It's going to be difficult to actually make something happen.
It's going to be difficult to make something happen for sure. There is a lot of cover that the Pharah can play behind during here, but as soon as she goes for that barrage, she'll be a sitting duck, unfortunately. So we'll see how they want to play this. Sleepy Ills is going to come up, and they're going to be playing this corner right here at the bookstore. And now there's the barrage. Gonna find one, but as I talked about, M going to get that kill on Najeela, and they're forcing out the Mercy, protecting that res. That way that Pharah can't be in the action anymore, and that's one less damage factor they have to worry about here. But now, the Shatter from Rabbit, that is what is going to be the factor here going into this fight. I feel like a good sound barrier can also protect them from this Annihilation. The Wheels mode is going to come out. There's the Annihilation. The beat is going to be called out in response, maybe a little bit too early, but the artillery strike here from M is going to try to find value. But in the meantime, Najeela is back from spawn and is getting to Rabbit doing his best, her best to fight through this, but falling extremely low. The punches don't care about your shield. They'll go straight through. And now a pretty good rehold here from the side of Faeble Rising, and maybe a little bit of a stutter step there from Aesir.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to be going into this next fight. Faeble Rising, they do have the overclock available along with that amplification matrix. Definitely going to be two ultimates that are going to be super valuable. However, King Deary going to be able to counter that with one amplification matrix of his own. And even if they don't want to opt for it, as soon as they put it down, you're going to see the whole team together. But there is that insane shatter that you do love to see if you are Aesir.
Yeah, you love to see it. The speed boost coming in clutch. On the side of Faeble Rising, they were just pushed up a little bit too far, a little bit too aggressive. And so Rabbit rightfully saw that exactly what we talked about. They're too far forward. Speed boost in, get the shatter before they can find purchase to set up. And now, second point is captured. We have essentially 4 minutes, Cherry, for this hold on third point. And this is going to be extremely tough here from Faeble Rising, especially if they decide to stay on this Pharah. They know she's up there. Can she stay alive? I'm not too certain. She's gonna maybe try to go for the barrage. Get stuck on the ceiling a little bit, and that's the last thing you want to see. The overclock has to be popped in response to try to fend off this aggression here from Aesir, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough. The card's being pushed up. Okay, there is the touch. I thought maybe we would have a quick C9. A good pin is going to take Sleepy Ills out of the fight, and now there's just a main tank fight in the back while a fight for the point happens, and no! The C9! They step off the point! Aesir! Oh, they push it through off of the sheer luck there of Faeble stepping off of the point. And that's the last thing that you want to see if you're Faeble Rising. And a C9 can be absolutely detrimental on the mental, especially going into a situation where you now need to reverse sweep to win this match.
Yeah, absolutely. Faeble Rising really just on that back foot. You got to change up something here. We have not seen a single tank swap this entire time in the Pharah pick. It was getting some value throughout the barrages, but it just was not enough. I mean, I don't know what you got to change, but maybe the Mercy? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you have to change up as well, but we're hoping that Faeble Rising can get it figured out. Right now, we are going to go to a 5-minute break, give the teams a little bit of rest in between these maps, and maybe we can see an amazing reverse sweep here from Faeble Rising. But stay tuned, and we'll be right back with some more Rainbow Open for you. Welcome back to our Twilight Division Week 2 matchup. We've got Aesir going up against Faeble Rising. Aesir has taken a commanding 2-0 lead heading into our Flashpoint map, and it looks like Faeble Rising Cherry has opted to go to Suravasa. Could we still be seeing maybe a favor towards this Pharah composition that didn't really work on King's Row?
Absolutely. I mean, if they played Pharah on defense King's Row at the very start, I wouldn't be surprised if they just opt in for Pharah on Suravasa, but I don't know how well that's going to work, especially on the first point. It's very indoors, it's very close combat, so to play the Pharah, it's going to be interesting, but honestly, I could expect anything at this point. Who knows? I don't think either teams really has a whole plan going on, but we'll see how they decide to play this.
We'll see what they decide to do. When one's back is up against the wall, that is sometimes when some of the greatest moments in esports and sports in general tend to happen. So we'll see if Faeble Rising can make something happen here. This is going to be an exciting one as we head into our match point on Suravasa. Now, Flashpoint's an interesting game mode, right? We're kind of playing control rule set. Points tick up a little bit faster, but as we're talking about it, I mean, this Brawl composition is kind of what is being favored outside of like Junker Queen comps. And with what these teams have been showing, I don't think we'll see any Junker Queen, but I think we will see a Brawl mirror, and it looks like that's exactly what we're going to get. Flashbacks to Antarctic Peninsula now, Cherry.
Honestly, yeah. And it is kind of odd that we're still seeing Faeble Rising on the back of the wall, about to get their whole hopes crushed, and they're still sticking to the same composition. I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll work, but honestly, I really, really doubt it. They don't take advantage of the speed boost. Their immortality fields come out way too early, but who knows? Maybe they'll make something happen here.
We're going to have to see what happens. Flashpoint can be one of those maps that is either a snowball or it's extremely close. And we're going to have to see how these teams are going to play it out as we go into, again, our match point here. A wall going to come out just to buy some space and some rotation time here for the side of Faeble Rising. But that Symmetra TP is getting so much value. It gave them so much space on the side of Aesir to get this point control early. And like we talked about, the point tick is so much faster than a control map. That's exactly what you want to see. A wall's going to come out, but Rabbit's going to easily hop around that. She isn't bothered by that one bit. And now it's just a little bit of a poking war in all the meantime. The points being ticked up. I don't really like this from the side of Faeble Rising. They need to take some initiative. And the TP is going to go into the back, and that's Honeycrisp going to take down M, and that Bastion, all of that damage is now gone. You just have a Symmetra, and maybe that's enough as Pogan is going to get the kill onto Honeycrisp, but now this point is in this little kind of like back and forth mode here. Not a lot going on. The Symmetra going to build up to that level 3 beam and is going to go burr, taking people down. Pogan going to find Najila, and now the unfortunate thing is on Flashpoint, that one pick, that one staggered kill there might cost them this entire first point.
Absolutely, and I mean, look at these ultimates. You know, we already see both Amplification Matrix built up already, and we see the Earth Shatter available for Rabbit there. I mean, going Crisp already at a very detrimental HP. You know, one more shot will be killing him, and I don't know what's happening, where the heals are at, but there's the Maywall going to be able to find Sleepy Eels. I mean, this is just awesome.
Oh, man. Yeah, a little bit of a tragic recontest there. It seemed like everybody was on a different page of the same book, trying to get to the same conclusion, but not able to get there at the same time. The good news, if you're on Faeble Rising, is that they did use an Earth Shatter and a window when they probably didn't need to. They wanted to secure that fight, sure, but now you're going in with this ultimate advantage, coming up almost on 5 ults here, Cherry. We might just see an ult dump here.
I mean, absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised if that is the exact case, because that's what happens. We've seen almost every single map. It's just Faeble Rising, you know, they build their ults all together, and then they just use them all together. And Echo 20 being able to use that beat to just sustain Sleepy Eel's annihilation. If they lose this fight, it's going to say a lot more than if they win.
Yeah, it's going to say a lot going in. The OC available on this off angle. Not going to take it. Honeycrisp doesn't want to do it, but Pogan going to get caught out by the Fist of Ramatra, taking down that Symmetra there. The Blizzard going to come out, going to be freezing 2 up. The Immortality Field going to keep King Deary alive for just a second there, but it's not going to be enough. Nodum thinks that this fight is winnable, though. The beat comes out, and that may be an overstep there. The wall as well. They really wanted to win this fight out, but Faeble Rising going to take it at that 50%, and most importantly, keeping 2 ults on the board as well.
Yeah, both teams definitely going for interesting plays there. Pogan dropping an ult, M popping his orbital strike. I don't totally understand it. Nodum as well, using the beat. And we still see Sleepy Eels with that annihilation. The amplification matrix still could be popped online. I don't know what's happening here. It definitely looks a little bit odd, but we're just going to have to wait and see.
Wait and see as well. King Deary may be building up quickly, extremely quickly to this window. They might be able to use it here to sustain through this fight. Rabbit just having to hold that shield. And in the meantime, Pogan gonna find the Fists of the Omnic once again, taking revenge on humankind, just like he does. And now this is a little bit of a stagger fight here for the side of Aesir. If they're wanting to still fight this point, they're going to have to go in a man down right now. The Lucio is going to speed him back, and so it is going to be a 5v5 here for this final fight for the side of Faeble Rising. And on that note, Aesir's just not even going to touch the point. A great Vortex there from Sleepy Hills. I couldn't think of the ability name there, but a great Vortex keeps them off the point. They are going to get 2 exit kills here, so they might get point control first, but now it's evened up and it's anybody's game here on Flashpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. It is definitely, either team could take this. However, I still have to give the advantage to Faeble Rising going into this next fight. They didn't have to use any ultimates and they were able to finish off that point. Look at that, both. We see this overclock about to come out and the Blizzard, but there's a very scrappy fight you always like to see.
Oh, big Shatter going to come out. Actually, only going to find Sleepy Hills, and the Annihilation and the Lamp are going to come out. They're going to make sure they win this fight out. They are going to invest 2 ultimates, but importantly, they do hang on to that window, and now they're going to get first point control coming up against that Bastion ultimate, so the Shatter not really finding the value there, and now you don't have a lot of really big ultimates outside of that artillery strike.
Yeah, I mean, you might be able to build towards something. I mean, the beat's in 60 or in 30%, so you might be able to find that to counter out the overclock we're going to be seeing shortly, but the amplification matrix is what you really got to worry about, because if you do even a little bit too much over aggression here, Rabbit's going to get taken down immediately if Zumi just pops it here, but it doesn't
There's
matter.
that teleport, and Pogan's going to fall as they go through it, and the Lucio's the only one that made it through. There's that artillery strike trying to focus down the Baptiste. It gets the job done, and the Baptiste finishes it off. That's 2 down here for Faeble Rising, but this is going to be a team wipe, but a clean 69. Very nice percentage there for the side of Faeble Rising. And now Aesir trying to make sure that they hold on to this 2-0 match lead here, holding on to this point.
I mean, yeah, you definitely like to see it. And honestly, at this point, Zumi he hasn't used his ult once yet, I do not believe. So for that to be the case, I mean, you have to launch that eventually. And it's just not happening yet. Obviously, it looks like in this next fight, we might be seeing it come out, but you literally just use it whenever. Get on point, use it. It doesn't even matter if there's anyone else, any enemies there. You could just use it and it would be better than just not.
Yeah, and this fight is going to be taken a little bit aggressively here. It looked like we did have a pick there onto Honeycrisp extremely early after the teleport rotation there. That's exactly what you want to see, and now this is coming into last fight for this point here. We have the window, like you mentioned. We have the overclock and a nice angle. There's the overclock. The window going to be called out in retaliation from Deary, but the Lucio gets booped off the map. I think the sound barrier got negated because of that, and now this is just extremely scrappy. It's just Rabbit left on the point here, and that's going to be a point take here from the side of Faeble Rising, but now 73% and counting. from the side of Aesir, they're going to be able to get back and fight this here. And so I expect to see a lot of Qs pressed going into this fight here, Cherry.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is going to be determining who's going to take the lead here. And I mean, Najili, there is a Blizzard online, but it's not going to matter. There is the point going towards Faeble. I mean, you got it. Faeble Rising, you know, they got to be happy about that one. They're finally taking the advantage. The first time we saw this was during map number 1, where they were able to take the first point, but ever since they've been on the back foot the entire match.
And the aggression is not letting up. They want to take this fight extremely early. Shatter's going to come out, only going to be finding the Cryo Freeze, trying to do a great cosplay there of Han Solo, stuck in some Carbonite there. That's exactly what you want to see. And Najila and the side of Faeble Rising are going to be able to take this first point control here. And it looks like this team has maybe found their footing a little bit here on Surabasa.
Oh yeah, I mean, they're finally really getting back to where they want to be. And honestly, this is the map where you do it, because they didn't look terrible on that first map, but oh no, Rabbit's coming in fast, and that's already one player taken down at 74% all charge. That was such a needed ultimate there. The overclock would have been very big, but honestly, this might be the point swap.
Yeah, and now they're on their back foot on the side of Faeble Rising. This is a story as old as time here. M is going to find a pick here for Aesir. That's exactly what they need to hold on to this point. A good window coming out here from Deary, and that's exactly what you want to see. They're going to be able to hold on to this. The aggression there from Rabbit, Nodum, and Pogan on that Symmetra teleport to open that up and get the pick onto Honeycrisp is exactly what you need. And now they've got this point control. It's going to tick up to about equal, but we're only looking at one ultimate for the side of Aesir, going up against the window overclock once again on the side of Faeble Rising.
Oh yeah, I mean, did you see that? Did you see Pogan's right click through the window onto Echo 20? That was clean. Oh my god, that might have just been play of the game right there alone. But I mean, going into this next fight, you know, it's about to become even on percentages. Let's just have to wait and see. Echo looking like he's about to get taken down.
Nodum falling low as well, but it looks like both teams are going to be able to stabilize. But as I say that, Sleepy Eels is going to get taken down. The Symmetra finding the revenge from earlier on Sleepy Eels. Rabbit going to get the pick there. And unfortunately on Flashpoint, 80% is not going to be fast enough, especially with these staggers. This is going to be Aesir taking the 2-2, evening it up here on Flashpoint. 1 point determines it all. Can Faeble Rising capture it, the final point here, and take the series in a different direction, or will Aesir complete this 3-0 here? What's your call, Cherry? What do you think is going to happen?
Honestly, I believe that we're going to just see Aesir fall. I mean, they are not looking amazing. Sleepy Eels is not even close to finding this ultimate. Obviously, we see 4 more from the rest of the team, but if Rabbit does something, this might be exactly what you need.
Might be exactly what they need, and they're going to look for this teleport engage here as they've done so many different times, and they're actually just going to wrap around this left-hand side. Pogan falling a little bit too low to actually execute on that strategy there. Maybe they're building up to ultimates. The window is available. Oh no, Name's going to have to throw out the Blizzard as she's caught out. Najila not going to be able to find a whole lot of value as she falls after that Blizzard comes out. Pogan going to drop as well, and Faeble Rising somehow, some way, even with a Mei being completely out of position, is going to find the first cap here on the point. You might be onto something here, Cherry.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, by the looks of it, you know, we didn't even see Faeble Rising losing any ultimates there, while Rabbit, you know, we did see the Earthshatter utilized there, which is not amazing. Nodum as well, dropping down the beat. And I mean, Aesir might have, they were looking good in that last point, but right now it does not look amazing. But there's the teleport, and oh
my goodness, Echo with the double boop. They're just gonna have to reset a dangerous TP from Pogan, and now this is extremely dangerous territory here for Aesir. They are going to have to come into this fight extremely fast, and if they don't win this fight, this is going to go the way of Faeble Rising, and we'll be on to map 4.
Echo 20 really just taking complete advantage over that teleport that we just saw Pogan use. You know, they tried teleporting closer to the edge to try and find their way onto the point, but it just was not the correct play whatsoever, and they're finally back. We'll see if they can do anything in this last situation.
The point is going to flip, but it might just be a positioning matter here. M going to find the pick on Najila, and now this is an even fight here. Pogan going to be throwing the wall up from spawn. The beat going to be coming out from Echo, and a window being mirrored as well. All of the ultimates are being pressed. This is for all the marbles, so it makes sense. Annihilation coming out. The revenge, the nanobots. He just has to hold up his fists. He wants to do some pacifism here, but he just can't. He has to kill everything, and it's not going to be enough. Sleepy Eels is going to fall. Zumi going to even it out, though, and this could go either way. Faeble Rising is capping the point back. It's just Pogan on the point here. It's up to Deary to get this kill here. He's not going to be able to do it. The Doomfist is going to be able to get back from Rabbit, but I don't think it's going to be enough unless he can have a miracle play. He does have a Lucio here with him now, and now here comes the artillery strike here from M, looking for point presence there. Not going to be able to find anything, though, and Rabbit's going to fall. That Bastion ult doesn't connect, and that's going to be Faeble Rising. Not out of this yet. They still have some steam in the engine, and now we're going to be going on to map 4 here, Cherry, and this is going to be a doozy here. Oh, this has to be that boop, Cherry. I'm so excited to see this again.
Absolutely. Look at this. They tried rotating towards the other side of the pipe to try and find anything, but Echo 20 had other plans. Rabbit trying to find his way off, but the rest of the team, they just decided it is not worth it to try and continue this point. They just backed off completely to try and make another fight, but it just wasn't worth it. And Faeble Rising able to keep themselves in this game, going for another round.
Going for another round, and now Aesir on the back foot a little bit. Momentum has swung out of their possession and into the hands of Faeble Rising, and they're going to take us to Push. Push is our next map, and they're going to take us to Esperanza, excuse me. I always say Esperanza as a joke. I need to not say that when I'm doing casting, so I think I just need to just say it normal from now on. You can hold me to that, all of you peeps out there. So Esperanza. I can't even say it right anymore. I think I'm just done. I think I'm washed now, guys. Sorry. I think it's over for me. Oh, but this is typically a dive map from what you see from most teams. The brawl, not something that's usually favored here, so Cherry, why on earth would Aesir take us to Esperanza?
Honestly, I mean, you got to think about it, right? They just lost to a team that does not swap off their brawl composition whatsoever. So that maybe they're willing to play that dive comp, and if they are, they're definitely going to have a field day playing on Esperanza. You run that Winston, you run that Tracer, that Sombra could be viable as well. All of those combined, honestly, maybe we'll see the Pharah come out from Faeble Rising once more, but even that, is it going to work? I'm going to be honest. I don't think so. This map is way too open.
If there is a push map for Pharah, it's going to be Esperanza. So I think you might be on to something there. This is going to be a very interesting match, and I, for one, am super excited to see what the teams are going to come out on. And as we wait for the teams to ready up a little bit, I mean, this is something that is kind of a little bit off script here. We talked a little bit about it at the very beginning of the stream, but Aesir coming in as a Plat 1 team, overall average, and Faeble Rising as a Diamond 5 team. One would think that would be in the hands of Faeble Rising for the most part, but it's really been Aesir that has had the upper hand up until Flashpoint. Maybe this is just kind of a Flashpoint diff. I mean, maybe Aesir's just not a Flashpoint team, It was extremely close.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what exactly is, because looking at the ranks of the players, I really would go into this expecting Faeble Rising to be like better, because they are consistently doing so much better than they're consistently the same rank, all low diamond, maybe one little mid plat player. But on the side of Aesir, you got a gold 1 or you have a gold 2 player, and that's about it. That is the low rank. And for that to be the case, it's you'd think that one player, especially since he's playing support, that would be the reason you're not doing too hot. But no, it's you're having your support player as the low rank here, and it doesn't matter. They're still performing insane. They're being extremely proficient with the way that they're using their speed, and it looks good. Aesir, they're an insane team. I would not be surprised if we see them running this division someday.
It could definitely be the case, and that's the beautiful thing about team play in Overwatch tournaments versus like your standard ladder play is that rank really doesn't matter. If your macro is down, if your fundamentals are a little bit better, that can give you the edge regardless of what the mechanical skill may look like, especially on something like a support character or even tank. I mean, that's the case for myself. I'll be 100% real there. No mechanical skill in these hands, but we're going to get into this fight. And again, this is shades of every other map that we've seen before, running into these two different styles of brawl. We got the Sim Bastion, we've got the Sojourn May, the Ram, the Rhine. Which is going to win out? Time will only tell. And now the fight is on. The Ramatra just eating up all that damage from the Bastion, mitigating a lot of that. The lamp does come out extremely early. This may be something that Aesir can jump on. Cryo coming out from Najila as well, and Pugin falling extremely low, taking this insane angle here, not able to find a lot of value. And now it's just teams just kind of hovering back and forth around Timothy here, but Pogan on the right click is going to find purchase. Notam going to get the kill as well, and this is going to be Aesir taking this first fight here pretty convincingly after what was a little bit of a stalemate.
Absolutely, and by the looks of it, Zumi's going to be able to find this next kill on that just exit that we are seeing coming out here by the looks of it. And I mean, how do you even come back here? Aesir, they've already taken 22 meters. I don't think they've lost more than like one, maybe two players this entire fight, and already almost three ultimates have been built up. There's the teleport, and they just want to keep going for more.
They want to keep going for more, and Najila maybe stayed a little bit too long, played out her welcome too far, but the side of Aesir doesn't feel like they can capitalize on it, so now we're going to be in a full team brawl once again, but the ultimate advantage is on the side of Aesir. This Shatter could come up huge. We have the Bastion ultimate. It looks like M is waiting for it. There is the Bastion ult going to be coming out. The Shatter going to find two. That's going to kill Honeycrisp. Down and out is that Sojourn. Sleepy Eel's going to fall as well, and if you're on the side of Faeble Rising, you need to die here. Don't overstay your welcome once more. It's not going to be worth it. Die, regroup, but this butt scratch and the first point checkpoint is going to probably go the way of Aesir.
Yeah, Aesir really just pushing through. They used two ults in that situation, and honestly, besides Earth Shatter, I do not believe that Bastion ult is too powerful. The artillery fire going to be very good in that late game position where everyone is in very similar areas. Everyone's grouped up, but in these scenarios where they are all playing different angles, it's not going to be the greatest. And for him to not use that, and that's like one of the only ultimates that they had to use, it's still looking pretty good here. Faeble Rising, obviously they are at 5 ultimates, so they are going to be able to just annihilation here. Maybe drop it in with a beat. Maybe we can add a blizzard just for safe caution. It doesn't really matter, but it doesn't even feel like they need to. Look at that damage.
And a little bit of an odd situation there. They were just kind of all looking at the Reinhardt. I expected the Ramatra to pull out the fists and start punching him, but they allowed that teleport to come out, and now it's going to be a full-on brawl again here. The Blizzard going to be tossed out by Najila. It might be pretty large. There are 3 there. No lamp is going to be able to save, but the beat instead is going to come out clutch from Notam, and what a clutch beat it was, keeping the side of Aesir alive. It might not be enough for right now. Echo is trying to take on this Bastion by himself, but the power is found might not be enough. Sleepy Eels is falling extremely low. Had to use that annihilation, and all this time the bot is not being pushed and allowing Aesir to regroup here.
Yeah, absolutely. And as 62 meters have already been collected, so to be able to make this is going to be at least 1 fight, if not 2, that you're going to need to see Faeble Rising winning if they want to bring this back to a tied game here. Look at that. There's the fight coming through. We already see the sim wall as well. What do you even do here?
What do? You got to make sure that you back up, you regroup. You can give up a little bit of space, but instead Honeycrisp wanted to take the aggressive angle, and that is going to cost Honeycrisp her life, unfortunately. And now, as the team has to back up, they're not retreating far enough, I feel like, and the Bastion is going to take advantage of it. The beat almost got Ajax there a little bit, got booped up, but it's going to come through and keep the side of Faeble Rising up, and they're on the back foot, and the aggression from Aesir just is persistent. Not stopping, it's going to trap him in a room. That's 2 from M. A humongous Bastional is going to get so much value here, and now it's just the Ramatra, the Lucio, the May. There's not a whole lot of damage here unless they focus the same target. but I think this might just be a stagger out. The Shatter is going to come through, only going to find the Lucio, but it might just be enough. It's just down to the Ramatra, and now the staggers are coming through, and it looks like this reverse sweep from Faeble Rising is nothing more than a dream right now.
Oh my god, dude. M's Bastion ult there was absurd. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, there's a double health pack on that left little bit of that room, and he knew exactly that both players that were in the room were going to try and head towards it. So he ulted specifically towards it, and that was able to completely ruin the day of Faeble Rising. That was absurd. And it was just exactly what you need. They just were able to completely mow down Faeble Rising, and it's going to be going even further. Look at that. There's the overclock already being taken offline, and it's, I don't even know if, can you do anything at this point? 4 minutes left, and it just doesn't look good.
There are 4 minutes left. The good news is that they haven't gotten too far past that first checkpoint, so I think really you have to regroup. You can't be praying as aggressive as you are, but now the Bastion is out. Eels can only hold that hands up, that right click just being held down real good by that finger on the mouse there. And now the Sojourn taking that angle again all alone is a little bit dangerous. They've caught her out several times trying to take that angle, and now this is going to be a humongous fight here. If Faeble Rising lose this fight, it is going to be a tremendous uphill battle for them to even think about getting back into this. But as I say that, Sleepy Ills is pressuring out this Reinhardt, but he's going to be bailed out by his Symmetra, and now they're all up on the high ground once again. This is going to have to be some great ult usage here from both teams. Najila going to give her life to place that Blizzard down, but the Lamp is going to be able to save most, but it's not going to be able to save them for long enough. The Annihilation comes through and burns everybody down. So 2 ultimates down, 2 left, just the support ultimates. Is that enough to get them past this Shatter here?
Honestly, I think that, I mean, it depends how Echo plays this, you know. If Rabbit's able to completely counter Echo's beat here, that could be extremely detrimental there. But if we can just see Echo get it down as soon as the beat goes off, or as soon as the Shatter goes off, I'm sorry, that could also be extremely good to just completely ruin his day. But there is Echo falling immediately, not even able to use the beat.
Yeah, a lack of recognition there for that teleport there that came out. Needed to be called out a little bit earlier, and now Faeble Rising on the back foot once again, almost down to 2 minutes. And once you start looking at a distance of about, 40-ish meters, which is a little bit more than the distance that we have right now in between these two teams, that's where things start to get rough in these low time chunks here on push, because the momentum is so hard to swing back your way, especially now that Aesir have that forward spawn.
Yeah, and immediately, we just look at it, Aesir, they're trying to play high ground, which is such a good position to go for. And Rabbit, he's playing low ground. I assume we're going to wait for him to just get that teleport by the Symmetra to make sure he just stays alive this entire time. But this overclock might be able to just give enough pressure so that they cannot TP the Reinhardt. But look at that. There's the beat coming through, and it's just going to be such an insane scrappy fight.
Beat coming through. CPL's going to find a pick onto Rabbit, so this might be the opportunity that the side of Faeble Rising need to start eating into this lead a little bit here, especially if the side of Aesir all gets staggered out here. The BAP is going to fall. Just the Lucio, he should be able to skate away on those walls, so I think that they'll be able to get to this checkpoint, and then we're going to see a big fight right around that corner here, Cherry.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at this, we're going to see that Symmetra, while able to be utilized here, which could definitely be really good to counter out that amplification matrix, because as long as, you're on the other side of it, they're going to have to completely beam down your wall, which, obviously it's possible, but, oh, Pogan, 18 HP, what do you even do there?
You can't do anything. That was an unwise teleport there for Pogan. And now the Blizzard going to come out. That's going to catch M. That's going to catch the BAP. You can't Immortality Field if you're already frozen, unfortunately. Actually, no, don't listen, Blizz devs. He doesn't need to be able to do that while he's frozen. He's strong enough as it is. But now, if you're on the side of Faeble Rising, we're getting into last fight territory here. Rabbit going to make the last minute switch over to this Orisa. Have a little bit more sustain here. here, but the side of Aesir does not have any ultimates whatsoever. They have to go up against this Annihilation and the window. This could be devastating. There's that window, and now Rabbit just being punched down. The lamp is going to come out, but it might not be enough. The horse is going to fall. They need to keep Sleepy Eels up, falling dangerously low, but there's the lamp. There's Nottingham falling, and this is exactly what we wanted to see for a huge match here, and Faeble Rising has done it. They have come back down from 2-0, and they have tied up the series, and we are going to go to a 5th and final map here. Cherry, we couldn't ask for a better match today.
Honestly, yeah, I don't know how that was able to happen. There was just nothing supporting the Ramatra, not the Ramatra, sorry, the Orisa, and it was just Sleepy Eels able to find so much value there, and he had so much sustain on him, and it just could not be any better. And Aesir, they are on the back foot at this point, 2 maps in a row, and it just doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good. Aesir maybe playing a little bit too aggressive, maybe got too confident after taking that 2-0 lead. So we're going to have to see how they are planning to fix this. But we're going to go to a quick 5-minute break so these teams can have a little bit of a rest, figure out their strategy. And when we come back, we'll be going to our 5th and final map of Escort. We'll see you there. All right, welcome back everybody to a banger of a match today. We have Faeble Rising going up against Aesir in our Twilight division. This is week 2, and we are at the final map. It is 2-2. Faeble Rising coming back, taking the momentum, trying to complete this reverse sweep, and Aesir trying to stop that from happening by sending us to Havana here, Cherry. So what do you think the thought is?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've been going head to head for the past 4 maps. I'm super excited for this 5th one coming into this. I mean, obviously, I believe that Aesir, they had a pretty rough after, this last map wasn't too great. Map before that, it was very, very close. But going into this 5th map, I'd have to give my advantage to Aesir here. I believe that they have a little bit more compositional. They can play different things, and I like that about them. Obviously, both teams, they both really tend to go towards the brawl composition, but I do believe the Mei doesn't have as much value on this map as it does on some of the other ones where we also didn't see the Mei getting much value. Obviously, the King's Row, such a good map to play the Mei on, and on this one, it's not as good. And if we choose to go for the Mei, obviously I could see it getting some value, but I don't know how well it's really going to go. Obviously, the Bastion picks, both teams running it, both teams doing very well on it, proficiently using the abilities. And okay, looks like we're going to be seeing Najila on that Pharah once more.
Yeah, the Pharah comp coming out, and again, this is another example here about Faeble Rising, right? We've seen them map to map, mode to mode, playing this Ramatra. We've not seen a tank swap here from Sleepy Eels, so definitely on their comfort pick here. So they have to play around that a little bit, but looking over at the side here of excuse me. That was Faeble Rising that has not had that tank swap, but going for Aesir, we are going to kind of a more traditional poke comp on Havana. We've got the Sigma, we've got the double sniper, the Zen, and the BAP. So this is going to be a clash of styles, and we'll see how they want to play this, and it looks like Aesir here, Faeble Rising, they've switched sides and it has messed with my brain. Faeble Rising playing a little bit of a close hold here with this Pharah, and I really like this move here. Sleepy Eel's going to get the first pick, and this Pharah playing above the building on first point is going to be so hard to dislodge here for the side of Aesir.
Absolutely, and especially since they're running a Widow Hanzo composition. Look at that! Just forcing that Widow back into her spawn. There's nothing you can possibly do there. And honestly, look at that Pogan already swapping off of the Hanzo, going towards the Symmetra pick. And we see that Lucio coming out as well. It looks like they want to head for a brawl situation. But as we saw earlier, you can't run that with a Widow. And it looks like we're just going to be seeing the Echo come out as well. I like this. I do. I really, really enjoy this. I don't know how much healing is really going to be going towards the Echo in this scenario. But we're just going to have to wait and find out.
We're going to have to wait and find out. The Echo definitely a pick that can stall out that Pharah, but the side of Aesir is wanting to flip this map. They want to get out of that spawn room. That's what they've done, but now they have a Pharah at their back and a team in front of them. They're going to have to TP back to the point and into the loving arms of the Omnic Warlord himself, Sleepy Eels. Sleepy Eels going to find all of those kills, and she's going to be able to take them down and back to the spawn room. Not a long walk, but definitely a walk back. What do you do to dislodge this comp here from Faeble Rising?
There is not a whole ton you can do. Honestly, I think you switch to the Soldier, switch to the Cassie, something like that. Trying to find your way into this match is something you really, really need to do. However, I mean, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be tough. But if anyone can do it, it is our favorite team.
Najila gonna find 1, 2, 3. That's a triple kill. Oh baby, a triple for Najila. That's exactly what we love to see here on the defense. And there's been 0 cart progress, Cherry. Not a single 1/10 of a meter has been taken here by Aesir. This has been a dominant defense from Faeble Rising.
Yeah, this is going to be very difficult to stop. But honestly, I think as soon as you're able to just get any type of value out onto that Pharah, but it's not going to happen yet. Pogan already getting taken down, and there's the Immortality Field getting used as well. Having to utilize that so early is not going to be something you like to see whatsoever. Here's some swaps coming out as well, but it's just not enough. Oh, wait, never mind. That's not even a swap. That is the Echo using the ultimate. That's going to be canceled out immediately.
It's going to be canceled out immediately, and the side of Aesir is stuck in here. They are at a loss of what to do. They've relied so much on this Symmetra composition here, but when the team is that close in front of you, that teleport is not going to get a ton of value. Honeycrisp is going to knock out King Deer's lamp there, but Najila's going to take out King Deer and Pogan. This Pharah on top of the building is unstoppable right now for the side of Faeble Rising, and we're under a minute. They did get a little bit of cart progress, but I mean, it's not even a meter. Can we really call it cart progress at that point?
Oh, absolutely not. Look at that. Najili already has the barrage up and ready. We see that Kitsune Rush, obviously the spirit of the fox, able to find so much value if used correctly. And it looks like there's the teleport coming through. Looks like that's the most meters we've seen this team get all game. However, they forgot the point. We'll see how they're able to do anything.
The Shatter
here.
comes out, but the Beat is going to be able to save it. Najila finally taken down, goes for a hero barrage there, and that might be exactly what Aesir needs to get out of this hole that they call the spawn room. Wall is going to come out from Pogan. Maybe didn't need it necessarily, but finally, after an entire 4 minutes of gameplay, the cart has finally left the gas station. But now, this is really impactful here for Faeble Rising. They're going to be able to get another fight, and not just another fight, a fight in overtime where the spawns are longer. This is dangerous, dangerous territory here for Aesir.
Yeah, this really is towards that last fight territory here. If there is a win for Aesir here, we'll see how this goes, though. I mean, we do see the Kitsune Rush still available. Obviously, 51% on the closest ult, which probably won't even be happening. But we'll see how that goes going into this.
Going into it, indeed, the cart is being stalled out. This Kitsune Rush is the only ultimate on the board, and Zumi is going to go ahead and pop that. Honeycrisp is going to find Pogan. That's exactly what you need when you're starting out this fight here. A lot of that damage gone from the Symmetra. M is being forced out, being taken down. This Pharah composition is doing so much work here. The hands, the loving fists of Sleepy Eels is gonna find not one, not two, but 4 kills here. And now, we had what I would say is a full hold. One of my former coaches would say it's not a full hold because they got some percentage, but that's neither here nor there. They did not cap first point, and arguably one could even say they barely made it to the halfway point. And so now, when you're on the side of Aesir, you're almost forced into this close hold matchup here. And we have seen them play the Brawl, and the close hold is really favored in that Brawl composition. So I think we'll see it still, but I'm afraid that Najila is going to come out on that Symmetra, which I would rather see the Mei. So I've got my fingers crossed here, Cherry.
Honestly, I would also rather see the Mei. I think the Mei is a lot better for taking down a Pharah, but it doesn't seem. It seems like they're going to go for both, going for the Mei and the Symmetra. Definitely an interesting composition against a Pharah on the attack. I think this might just be oh, never mind. There's the soldier pick that you definitely do love to see. You kind of need to see it as well if you want to try and make anything happen here. Hopefully he's playing high ground. If not, I don't know what to say. But we're just going to have to get into this and see how this Pharah Mercy combination will be working.
Yeah, the good news, if you're a fan of Faeble Rising here, is that Pharah composition, even though they're on the attack, they can still utilize all that space above the spawn room that they were doing on their defense, making it extremely hard for M to find any value against that Pharah. And now, here's the moment of truth. 72 meters is all that stands between Faeble Rising and a reverse sweep. Can they make it happen? We will see right here, right now. The Pharah already finding value, bringing several members of Aesir extremely low. The Soldier finally finding some hits onto this Pharah, but it might not be enough. Maybe playing a little bit too far back. Najila already finding Nottam, and that's that speed boost gone. Rabbit falling extremely low. Najila gonna fall to a Sim turret. I don't know where that Sim turret was over there, but it was definitely there. This is a good start here, but it's not going to be enough. Pogan going to fall. There's the res behind the doorway. Nothing you can do about that, unfortunately. And now the cart is already moving forward much quicker. This is very dangerous for Aesir here, Jerry. I'm worried.
Yeah, I don't even know where you're even going to be planning on holding this because, I mean, what, you can't even try and full hold this at the window since what do you even do there? You have one person playing there, but the rest of the team has to be on the point, and here is the final fight, potentially.
final fight potentially. The Pharah has so much space here. The only pressure on her right now is a soldier, and it's not going to be enough pressure. Pogan falling down, not able to deal with that Pharah at all. Barrage is going to come out and find Rabbit. Nijila going to fall, but taking that tank down is a worthwhile trade here. There's no front line to protect from any of the damage coming in, and it's just a Lucio on cart stalling it out. They can take this down. The soldier has to retreat off of the high ground. The Symmetra for the side of Aesir is back and is going to find Casey on that pick there. That's exactly what you need. The Reinhardt back as well. And the Annihilation, they want to win this right here. Right now, they take out the soldier. That Pharah has all the free reign in the world now, but a good Symmetra wall coming up to stop that Annihilation. But it might not be enough. Nijila gonna find Deer on the kill there. Not him. Sleepy Ills is gonna find Pogan. Rabbit gonna be charging in after killing Zumi, but it's not gonna be enough. And we have seen it. Faeble rising up. Magically, almost, one could say, finding this reverse sweep after a devastating first two maps where they really looked like they were on the back foot. And I think right now it was all on the back of Nijila like we were seeing here. And honestly, if I were giving out a player of the match, I think I would have to go for Nijila, because once this Pharah composition came out, Aesir really didn't have an answer for it.
Absolutely. The barrages came out so often within every single series we saw the Pharah getting played. King's Row, there were so many amazing barrages. This last map, honestly, it looked insane how proficiently they were taking down tanks, taking down supports. It looked so freaking good. You couldn't do anything against it. And honestly, I would have to agree with you. Everyone on this team, though, played so well. Sleepy Ill playing so proficiently with his annihilations there. Honestly, I think the only player that didn't perform to a maximum capacity was Zumi, and even him, he looked so good on that Kiriko on that final map. It wasn't even funny. And honestly, extreme, big props to Faeble Rising for rising up to the occasion. As you said, they were down 2 maps, they were not looking good, and then they just brought it back. And I cannot say I expected that whatsoever.
Yeah, I can't say it either. I thought we were looking for a clean 3-0 here from Aesir, but Faeble Rising able to turn the tides of victory in their favor, and that's exactly why we love the Rainbow Open. All of these different divisions are so competitive. Make sure that you are liking, following, getting your notifications on for our Twitch channel here so that you can check out every single match that's being streamed, because I mean, if the matches continue like this is going to be one hell of a tournament to watch, I would say, Cherry. Any final words before we head out?
Oh, I cannot. I just want to say, xSCL Aesir, do not give up hope on them. Honestly, they looked so good throughout every single series or every single match. And let's just bring it back. They are a lower ranked team, so Faeble Rising, they just had to bring it back to show why they are such a good team. They are that higher ranking, so they wanted to make sure that they can prove that they deserve their Overwatch ranks.
That's right. They really wanted to show dominance there, and this could be 2 teams that we see in the playoffs going forward. I would not be surprised one bit. But from Cherry, myself, the rest of Prod crew here, from Hiccup running the production, and we've got Cinna on OBS, we want to thank all of you for tuning in. Make sure you stay tuned all the rest of the week for the remaining matches here of the Rainbow Open, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. We'll see you then.